everyone, my name is Juliana Kua and I'm the Assistant CEO of International Group for the Singapore Tourism Board. My passion? Well, won't be surprising to hear that it's travel, and I think APAC travel growth has really accelerated all the positive benefits of tourism to many APAC destinations. China is an extremely important market for Singapore. Pre-pandemic, it was our top visitor arrival market as well as our top tourism receipts market. So throughout the pandemic, we didn't stop marketing to the Chinese visitor. However, I'll just highlight a few more recent examples of what we've done in the China market. So last year, for those of you who might be fans of Jackson Wang, the multi-talented singer, dancer, everything, we managed to collaborate with him to showcase a side of Singapore that many Chinese visitors might not be aware of. So that was one, I think, very good example of how we stay current for the Chinese visitor. But of course, it's not just about consumer marketing, but it's also about our trade engagement. So earlier this year, we pulled together 60 Singapore stakeholders to go to China for our first ever leisure trade conference. And there, together with 130 Chinese stakeholders, we shared about updates on Destination Singapore and also linked them up with our Singapore stakeholders to make it seamless for them to come back to Singapore. Digital transformation has been something that Singapore Tourism Board has committed to for several years now. And I think Tourism Information and Services Hub, or what we call TIH for short, has been an integral part of that entire journey. So what it does is that it brings together all the information about Destination Singapore into one stop, and businesses and then consumers can actually access that information as well as other types of useful content real time, either through APIs or through logging on via their own account. Just to give one example of something that we've really pushed hard on since the pandemic. XR is a major aspect of Singapore tourism's strategy in order to make Destination Singapore even more exciting for future consumers. On the TIH, there's actually a library of 3D AR assets that all our Singapore stakeholders can easily access and use for their digital marketing or for their experience creation. Singapore really is so much more as a destination. It's worth a stay over as well as a full mono destination, 4, 5, even longer stay. We try to bring that across through all our different marketing campaigns. For example, during COVID, we launched a global campaign called Singapore Reimagine, where we brought across all the unknown experiences of Singapore to our consumers globally. More recently, earlier this year, we launched Singapore Rewards, which was our way of marketing off-the-beaten-path experiences to global tourists. They come to Singapore and can partake of a free off-the-beaten-path experience just by registering with our Visit Singapore app. So I would encourage anybody who's reading this, listening to this now, to register and get a deeper taste of Singapore through the Visit Singapore app. Talent or shortage of talent in the tourism industry has really come to the fore post-pandemic. Singapore Tourism Board is extremely committed to creating solutions together with industry to tackle this issue. Just as one example, earlier this year, we launched the Tourism Jobs Transformation Roadmap, where we are working together with government agencies as well as industry members in order to think creatively about how to transform jobs. One example is stacking. So instead of looking at various jobs in silo, we look at adjacent jobs that might be able to be combined such that there is greater value add to both the person who is doing the job as well as to the company that is providing this job. Well, I've only been here this morning, but I must say the content that was shared has been really thought-provoking, and I think that's a wonderful aspect about the summit. And of course, the other aspect is the networking. I think I see quite a number of overseas guests here, and to be able to exchange tourism ideas is always a wonderful opportunity.